Sangma la ne yanja samje daj de lu jubi.
Hello, we would like to welcome you all to today's session.
Ni nga zo lengwa la ngondo yi ko la tiwa khaje do ni tiwa dun zo ka lengwa la len phu to ba jigi.
We have some questions from previous sessions, so we will go one by one through them.
Tiwa dangbo de nga nima tabar cholma lekso sum nyamlen je yu mari ni ro je kapsu tabar lekso sum ji sulje ngondo ko la kom ja gu yu nga dun salje Khenpo changchu choke sabun dan lekso sum nyamne kathal ne chego rebe sa da kong lekso sum nyamne chego yo sa ane ta lekso sum yengondo te dan ane danda tukru parche gongso yengondo ane kathal ne nika sosu kaka chego rebe sung peke chere sha ane da dila lende ngondo Sangma tonda de da tsik tes mendawa dine yung siki yore ane labar do danda lekso sum ngondo de da turu parche gongso ngondo de da tsik yang ane kebar shira yo mare tos ma do halam dawa re de yore ane che ane ngondo chik nyamnen che sawa ina ane shenpa sangma nyamnen daga rangi tuy dogo yore inji meni yongso che kwaya yo mare lekso sum ngondo daga rang la ngondo shenpa sangma ane tsang degi yore ane pake yang che tsuke che gong mare ane tuanda je neka dan rodan din tsula lang ane di lekso sum rang la ane jarna nyamne chen na degi yore tokrub di ngondo tangi ina tokrub ngondo rang la nyamne chen ane tuanda sama tsula lang ne nyamne tsula lang na degi yore te mayin be ngondo shenpa ane kang nyamne che ba ina ya ane tuanda di tsangma la sang gogo yore ane tsik ngondo yongzo pake duen diyan duen dene chego mare en ching nala sama sangyo yore nazo.
So, we have a first question from a triple excellence practitioner. So, their question is I have been practicing Ngöndro in the Taras Triple Excellence. And now, when we are learning about the same Ngöndro practice in Thuktu Parche Kunsel lineage, can I continue practicing just the Triple Excellence? Or should I switch to the one we are learning now? Or should I combine them? What would be the proper way to go around? And Khenpo says, be it the Taras Triple Excellence or the Tuktu Parche Kunsel, in every Ngöndro, there are some words that are different. There can be some words that are different, but they all have similar meaning and their practice is also same. So maybe the sequence is different, perhaps some words are different, but the practices are same. So if you practice Taras Triple Excellence Ngöndro, all the practices, everything is all included in it. Likewise, if you do Tuktu Parche Kunsel Ngöndro, then here also every practices are included. So you can choose to do only Triple Excellence Ngöndro, and once it is done, you can go to Tuktu Parche Kunsel Ngöndro, or you can choose to do other Ngöndro practices as well. It is you don't have to worry about combining two practices at once because after all it's Ngöndro, it's preliminary practices.
Ni deji la tewa shenpa de ngak duen salje jenpa changrup choke sabun ji long chaza matom na yang reza labi zinda la te choke re dam sa ni da long yongzu zoba tamje mena yang kyo yo ma re tanda nga zo ni karasa re zinda de kapsu ni tonda shio dini te dan long dan samba nyamdo yang jik dogo yo re de kyo yo ma re ni kirang zinda de la pemna jik yo re tega pemna jik wa re.
We have another question that says, I missed the oral transmission of the Tutubarsi Kunsel Ngöndro. Is it okay that I continue to participate in these classes? So, even if you have missed the transmission, when we are receiving these teachings now in these seasons, we received along with the question and answers and the classes. And because we are just learning proper ways of doing Ngöndro, you can wait to receive transmission when it's time to really do the practice. And until then, feel free to continue participating in our sessions.
Ni de jala ni jewa shambaji. Na lodo namba hi ni dang wonro ji nyamnen ji ni chashe ji re de yure san. Ta di wonro lodo namba hi di wonro re tang da re re la inji mini kogi re be. Ene tun re 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 la kogi re dang kogi ma re. Yang na koshe jamnan rigi ren rigi ma re. O ta ten re ji ni jewa re sha. Ene ta di kansa sozo sozo ni lo dang tunba tonne ta ye re. Ngono tuen re re la lodo namba shija anu komtum na yang yaburo e. Kansa na ngondo re re tambe kabla tsik palche wa na la de yungu yore. An kashi la tsik meba ina yang samlo dang chogore. Yang na korangi dewa nana yoba na shin che ne ane karo sogore. Dawa am dunda nima kashi ane kaso gore. Talju nyega wache. Ane dee che la ane yang nima kashi dan dawa kashi dunda kashi che na degi yorwa. Ane mi dagba ane le gyun re kuru nyime rembe che ne dawa kosha jamna yang degi yore. Yang na karo sogore. Dawa kashi jige reng la ane lodo namba shibo di chigbo ane rembe samla dang kom. Ane kyabra samje denzo ji mikba zo nyamle da yang chizu chungna yang digi yore. Kyabra samje la zo ba nyamle ngondu ta ngo shin ro shimbe kabla yang ane nyine re shindo ne nyama re ne rembe weche na yang digi yore. Di kansa sozo di ne lo dang tun ne kom chogo yore.
Our next our next question is about practicing the mind trainings during sessions. So you see, when we do the Ngöndro practice, we have 2 or 4 or several sessions. So the main question is, do we have to contemplate the mind training, the 4 mind trainings, the 4 thoughts of mind changing in every session? Or can I practice just one for a week and continue? So what is the proper way of doing it? So Kimbola says, if you can contemplate on the 4 mind trainings before every session, that's great. And in some of the practices, some of the preliminary practices, maybe they are not proper sloka, proper verses of mind training, but you can contemplate on the thoughts without chanting the verse as well. Likewise, you can also choose to do these mind training contemplations week by week. So you can spend 2 weeks contemplating on precious human body, then continue 2 weeks on another thought, then another thought. Or you can just do 1 week each. That's also completely fine. So, in short, it is good if you can practice the contemplation of mind training every session. If not, do not chant the verse, but you can still contemplate. Or you can spend some time dedicating to one thought each.
Ta di ro lodo namba shibo di kadu ina ya ene nyamdu lang gugre be sigdo wa. Chungzo na gyundu tenzo la samlo dang tumna ane pemeza yabu yore. Ale la korwa la lo koran mando ba ina ene nyamlen shenpa tenzo cheba ina nyamlen de tenpo shera yungu bare. Nyamlen yongzo ji shi dang mang ding gogu yo na tangbo lodo namba shibo de la loga chokba je chungwa ina ane 냠는데 셴바 상마 야가다 뿌이다가 연구 요상 아니 코로라 로야고 만도기 바르도 아니 견도 된서 삼로당 돈은 야고 요래 로 독살나 아니 양자 나 삼로당 고야 싫어요 말에 나 가밥로 삼로당 되그래
So the next question is, um, should I continue the should I continue contemplation of four mind changing throughout my Ngöndro practice every day? Should I do that? And Kimberly says, when you are doing the preliminary practices, especially in the beginning, it is very important to do four mind changing, as it changes your mind towards the dharma. So the best case scenario is to do it every day, to continue contemplating on the four mind changing. But if you feel like you are at the point where you are not going to get distracted and your mind is in dharma, nothing can divert you, then every now and then, in 2 weeks, in a month, you can continue to return and recontemplate on mind changing, recontemplate on mind changing.
다데절라 빼마 오두두 몰람데 니 가서래 먼저 마도 마실은 냠니 제쪽으로 조금 말해서 되는 게 저래서 데 몰람데 가든잖아 소소데 말해 먼저 가서 인지민이데 몰람 거베래서네 캬바야 요 말해 먼저 가서 몰람데 마다 버저 몰람 셴바송나야 소소데 말해 아니 몰람데 먼저 마인바 아니 그냥 가도 송용되나야 송적으로 몰람 답적으로 단다데 아니 자만 켄종 보지 송바래 되요래 아니 원로데 테네 켄종 보 송바네 단다버도 야 토주 병원도 단 잘네 소용이 로솔요래 원래 셴바 상마라 대찬네 소용 로솔되네 대요 말에 대소소 내가 나신 제초그래 인진민이 고야요 말에 아니 매나야 되그래 코랑지고 수르 말람당나야 되그래 이게 버려 말해라.
So the next question is about a specific aspirational prayer that is included in our Dr. Barsi Council Ngöndro practice manual. It's Pema Wudre. So the question is, should I do this aspirational prayer after every practice session? Or can I not do this aspiration prayer, and instead of that, can I do other aspirations instead? So because the aspirational prayer is already included in a textbook, to go one after another, the practices to go after another, at the end, it is nice to the aspirational prayer by just following the flow of the text. But you can choose not to do this aspiration prayer. You can choose to do something else instead. So you can do other aspirational prayer as well. And you can choose not to do the aspirational prayer as well. So what I'm trying to say here is, especially with the Pema Wudre, because it is already included in the textbook and is of a lineage, it is totally beneficial to do these aspirational prayers. But you can also choose to change this prayer to something else and conclude the practice with other aspirations instead.
니 지와다가래샤 아니 레양된데제 아니 다 삼바자저 정주심지 볼롱기 아니 찌심에 돈네 아니 마레 뉴돈네 마 냠노네 소로 나슈비.
Those were the questions we had for today's session. Now we go to the main teachings. I request all of you to give rise to the perfect bodhicitta and listen to the teachings.
Guru Bema Bawa Gandru Tsodan Jeba Tamje Ku Kardab Sonda Ge Ngaje Loi Tuje Gongba Rekba Ran Sharje Ngo Tala dede dajilje jadanje silchembe dunje namgara jembara juru jelamanga dzo nanje medalando jeje de dada gam zomzem je Sem lo ma de je ngan do na te se ne ju be na wa ra ja man jo jo ju ru be sem je na po ra re do be na jo re ne chen ga je ne zo je be je Palamanje je jo ne Lunga ye da nyo me ne mar de zango be de la ba Le jawa de je la ju Ne re je nyam ge je de ro Darajen de Ngöndro bai Kelama gan de zo nam je Medage go zon jin je lo Medage go zon jin je lo Medage go zon jin je lo la so ane dene long ko chok sal ko ba yin de ane chama nyam do sal ro na ju gi
And now it's the time to exhale the still breath. So let us all perform this together.
la so ta de che la ane sol de da che le phye de ma re ane so so che zo do ne nam ba chum guru ma ja la ngo sa la ma yin ba sal da ane de la ne te ba da me ba tse ji bu do ne so lo da bu gu ye de ane sol de nga da na ngon de che nyam nen ji ge ye ane ngon de ju tuen de sam je la yang da ba che war sho che war chin je lab do sol san sol de che ya da ane de je la lam me ane na wa chen song sam ane lam ma we de shu ne so so ji che zo na ma tem je lam me ko song to song da ane so so lu nga yu sum er me de kyor song sam ne ane ngon do kom go ba yin ba re wa de ane sek dun che sun chen be do ne do sa no sal da bo na shu gi
Now, having expelled the stale breath, now it's time for Guru supplication. At this point, we remember our Idam deity or Guru Rinpoche or our precious root teacher, and we supplicate them, requesting blessings, so that the mind may be ripened and liberated, so that the extraordinary realization of Ngöndro, this is our main practice right now, so that the main practice, preliminary practices, main realization, may it develop in our mind. Likewise, grant our blessings so that I may complete the supreme path of the luminous great perfection in this very lifetime. So, with these precious aspirations, requesting for the precious blessing, we continue the supplication to the Guru.
Balden zawe lama rimbo che dage jo peme den la jo gaden chembe ngone jesu kozon tu je ngordo zaldo zu de zum sanje dam je je ngobo lama rimbo je dāngi gyū miñjīn chōlvara jīnjī labdō sū sāmlam jī dōba jebara jīn gyūla jewara jīnjī labdō sū sēdīnī la wāsā dzōba jī lamchō dhār jīn bara jīnjī labdō sū dūsum sāngjī dām jī jī Lama rinpo je je dagi gyu minje cholwara jinje labdo su samlam je doba je bara je gyula je wara jinje labdo su sede nye la wazal zoba je lamcho dar je bara jinje labdo su duzum sanje dam jinje ngu Lama rinpo je je dagi gyu minje cholwara jinje labdo Samlam je doba je bara je gyula je wara jinje labdo Sede nye la oza zoba jembe lamjo dar jinje labdo Sowa debzo lama rinpo Dungyen bendo jinjin che je alme dala reza jul Tuye yermen je bara jinje lo Gemma dage gyujen kangne jan daljuro din Shindu nye bara ga lazo Tandende chene, nga zo, ngondo de, tunda ngoma je samdena, kale, samdo tangi.
At this point, having recited these lines, please recollect the teachings received previously about the difficulty of obtaining the freedoms and advantages and continue the contemplation.
Ni ta ngondo je che nyamzo lango go yuna, tumpong chi ngondo, tumin nangi ngondo, sanda dende ringi yung yore. Ndi nane tangbo tumpong chi ngondo, lodo namba shibo de, yagbo gyula maje bardo komgo go yore. Eni di chela ni shine, tumin nangi ngondo de, eni komgo go yobare. Tina na dana nga zo da, lodo namba shile, ena taljur nyega wa kwa la, samlo tang tang, an tong shimba yimbare.
When it comes to doing the preliminary practices, there are two parts: outer Ngöndro, outer general Ngöndro, and inner Ngöndro. Now we are at the outer Ngöndro, where we have to contemplate on the precious human body or the difficulty of obtaining the freedoms and advantages. And as we continue to contemplate on four mind changing, upon completion, then only we enter the inner preliminaries. So now, let's contemplate on the first among the four mind changing, difficulty of obtaining the freedoms and advantages.
Nida taljur nyega wa de la, ngo dalwa la samba da kebar jun jorwa la samba da ani ani pe dang chang dene la samla da ya mangbo yo ba le ta ta na ngo dalwa da kebar jorwa le chue je ani dine dalwa da mixe yang ne kun ye long chen be ni yi xin zhen bo chen zhen nang la cha jun jin ji me gon ba je da re che lu me gon ba je wa dene je song nang yo ba ro wa ani di ko la ni nga zo samlo dang yo ba yin du ani cha jun jin ji me gon ba je na ne da chu nga zo tu nang ma samlo dang ma tang sa wa re ani lang ma de da ka le ma ne samlo dang go mi
When it comes to contemplating the difficulty of obtaining the freedoms and advantages, several teachers, several masters have given different analogies and different ways of explaining the difficulty of obtaining the freedoms and advantages. In our previous sessions, we have listened to one of the explanation by Longchen Rapsam, and among which we have already gone through several of them one by one in previous sessions. So we will continue to recollect those explanation, and we will again go one by one to other freedom and advantages.
ani da de je la nen ji job se ge yore ani da ji job se di ani ne ga ji ba jo be chang ma che do ani chue che gen de yong ge yore ani be na ani se di ani sa ya ka la bu chung ne ani chue ji nam ba la ani kyap jo lo do che ya do da ani se di ko ya ka la bu yong ge yo ba la ten ne di kang se sam che do da ani 다 나신도 막지 녀다 라서 발레 내가 비 타레체도 당 아니 결보지 체바 된솔레 타레체도 당 미강에 나가 망보지 연구이래 디강에 된조지 타레체도 삼지 다 깨와 내 깨와 사람도 강에 된솔레 타레체도 줘줘봐이나 디 내중서 그래 딜라 준서요 말에 내가 강에 삼지 써야체도 아니 줘 제바이나 디 제접서게 그래 아니 가서 안 된대 간로 도도 domino sozo semlo samada an dende kan la tene tangbo nga zo dende la do se gire an dende do de ro ju chung yin wa ta dende ji ma yin ba khor wa la nge ju ting ne ke je samada go gu yure yang tangbo lo dende me ba yin na yang chue yak bo che ben na ba yo ba jan ka le yang lo dende ro la gyur yang se gire nga zo sem se ginde tembo shara me ba yin du da me da yong se gire dende yin na 다 디로지 견딘도 yana 견데 방에 탑시다 되네 매나 아니 균장네 아니 매바랑 요해지네 탑시단 거고베 인도 안되는 게 제게 냠버지 아니 소소소소 셈라야 칸난데지네 삼로지 는 따로나 주기
When contemplating on the freedoms, we speak about free from being born in other realms of the samsara, in particular the gidak, or the realm of hungry ghost, where there is difficulty of drinking or eating. So when it comes to those condition, it is difficult. That is their main form of suffering, where they're always suffering of hunger and thirst. Likewise, when it comes to animal realm, they have their own kind of suffering. Likewise, the higher realm as well. And the point here is to remember that whichever realm that we are born in, there is nothing but all pervasive suffering. So, understanding that there is nothing but suffering wherever you are reborn, we give rise to renunciation. We give rise to renunciation towards the samsara, realizing that wherever we are born, there is nothing but suffering. As the beginner, it may be difficult to have complete renunciation. So that is why we go through these points one by one and give rise to renunciation, try to give rise to renunciation.
so da na chin do je je bi na ba shen yang nga zo mi ze na la ne ka nge nya da nyo da ma bo le byong ge re ta de ka nge nyo da ma bo sa le ya che do ne ga che do de ne jam tsam ta ne ga bi ka nge se jang ma che do ni hin ne ko me do da lao dong ko me do da ngon do da ya do da ta de le sem ne ga len de wo do da ne ga la ne nyam de we nyam do da sa we nyam da chung se le se ge re de la hen ane dinde jangma chedo yang azo ane chodo bande ne yore ane komja yin second da kondo dang yin ane nyemba dang yin second ta nega bi kang sel nega sam de chibu na de yong yore ti jangma chedo chue chi na ko yang jigjob ji chue cha ge yore chue yang da ba je na nalma jo ru tu gu me ba re yang so so dinde kan lon ro du ge dinde kan le shen du ge shen yue na wa ta de chi ge me dinde kan lon ro me na mu tu ne ne chue nyam len di ane gyun jang ya 어딘데 저 보고 이래 한 대한 교sam도 나오나
So we just had a very short contemplation. It is important to have short uh, apologies. It is very important to have short sessions of contemplation because we are at the beginning of our practice and we may not have the complete renunciation. We may encounter many different kinds of difficulties, several conditions that may divert us from our main practices. So, when we contemplate the way we just did now, with short practices, it becomes really helpful to get rid of the distractions, to keep us focused in the practice. So, whenever there are whenever there are this kind of distractions, keep on reminding yourself that these are it will fade away, it is impermanent, and our only way to bring ourselves back to the practice is recontemplate. Give us short time to recontemplate on these thoughts. So in that way, when we continue to have short sessions, we can also perform shamatha, vipassana, and other practices as well. So we should continue to have short sessions of contemplations.
당수 다 되절라 네 최더 줘봐 세계에 최더 줘봐 세계 등한수 류주군에 네 최진 넘버제 나지군에 최진 넘버제 이주군에 최진 넘버 농아 이숨기 숨자지군은 도스타 용도 아니 최바 임바소로지 대바 여반다오지 코로라 뇌중교지 여반다오지 미개와 주방와다 개와주 쪽이 benamba ngondro tangyo ba nyamnen chegi benamba che ene sem dingne ene ngone te ba da yije ningje tena kaya meba ene sem dingla tene karaso gore mi ngala yagbo jila ba yong sa ta neche ok ta khocho ba yagbo shu chi resha jo yagbo chegdo ko samba sangbodo ko ngondro yagbo tangdo ko kom yagbo kyungdo wa tende ji ming dojara ayong mi ji twera tang ayong sa dende je chu chue je gan ro dang ani mi den zo ni ko la nya ba dang bulwa den ya bu jara ayong ko chara chum bu cha ayong o dende sem ding la ngone ne chue ji lo me ba je o dende ji nya ba dang cha ba dang nya ba dang kur di dang o dende la cha yo ba je nam ba den chue ro je chi yo ba yin na di chue dar chue ba se ge yo re o dende so so la yang yong du da yong mi do 까발라 영식이래 아저 소소제고 sem진 담말와 인도 견도 되는 연구연나 다디 만들 바래 까고 연구연나 양 섬로 당저고 당에 남 노르자 최더 쪄바자 로고도 내 되는지는 지금 말은가 타르바도 보고 요래 내가 변는 내질랑가 신대기매 다르도 산지고만 더 보고 요 사마 sem진 담자 산지고만 고해지도 내 죄지기 요 바래 어 된대 되는 루ጭ 보고로 와 dene do da me do no so so samgyo la yang jar je ta ja da no na hyu yin.
When we are in the beginning phase of practicing, we have to be very careful about pretend practice. We have to be very careful that we are actually practicing and we are not pretending as if we are practicing. So we may feel like we have great faith, we have great devotion towards our teacher, towards the practice, and we may pretend as if we are contemplating the four mind changing. We may pretend as if we are not doing the 10 non-virtuous act and we are performing virtuous act, and we may do all of this without proper faith and devotion, without proper trust in rituals and the teachings. And what happens to those who are practicing like this? We are not able to really be mindful even of our thoughts. We may be swayed by our happiness. We may become sorrowful due to our sadness. But this will not be seen from outside, from the others. So when others look at those who are pretending to practice, they may think, oh, they are such great practitioners. They have so much faith and devotion. They are always doing only virtuous deeds. They are never seen doing non-virtuous deed. They are such great practitioners. They are always doing Ngöndro. They are always doing prostrations, mandala offerings. It may seem like that, but we have to be very careful that we are not pretending to practice, that we are actually practicing. So what happened if you have genuine renunciation, genuine faith and devotion? Just look at the way you react to your emotions, to the situations. When we are really practicing, when we become happy, we are not swayed by happiness. Likewise, when we are sad, we are not completely drowned in our sadness. When we are happy, we see, oh, we are happy. When we are sad, we bring the thought to our mind that this is impermanent, it will pass. So we are not distracted by our happiness or by suffering. And this all comes only if we are genuinely practicing, genuinely trying to change our mind to Dharma. So in order for that, we have to remind ourselves of our aim. What is our aim? What is it that we wish to do? We wish to attain Buddhahood. We wish to attain complete Buddhahood. And for that, we are practicing. For the sake of all sentient beings, we are practicing. So, once again, be very careful of pretending to practice, be mindful of our activities, and do the proper practice instead.
la so ta din zu cha jung gen ni me gu men nam ba che ne se ma re ne da re che lu me gu ba che de ne ka le ma yang shu gi ta cha jung gen ni me gu ma nam ba che de wa di zo ba re ne re che lu me gu ba che de ne ka le ma yang ga zo sam na da ya da ne shu gi la
We just completed contemplation, one of the contemplations, and now we carry on to the next one.
re da re che lu me gu ba che na ne tang bo ching wa tam ten se re ching wa tam bo da ten ba se lu 다 최양다 번 주에게 고가 균에 매바세 고로와 센디 아니 자와 년년 거당 밤마당 아니 가르서 그래 센디 아니 노로 롱주 토망아당 된저 지체도 되네 짱짱 죽네 아니 최날마지 균에 주에게 고가 말아봐 제가 년년 거당 밤에서도 저주 보고 요래 뒤서도 미네바가요 말 고농주 뉴만이 삼지로 와 고농주 만뉴 고농된 거서 마도 ene kolong koran se di yo ne chashin gi che dum beze kong bu tuzo da shobang lang ne kong da manye bar du dagarang la chal ene ki kolong gewa da yang da bolo jur ma du to tende tempo ina chingwa dambo da temba se di yo ne deji gi che du sana mi du se di ton kona la ne dam ne jing ne sha ba tende che ba ina yang che ya bu jun du du yu ma re tende so so la du da mi du yo ba ina 다 꿀렁 줘야지. 답시 주다. 현 아주 미자 잘고도 네 내가 제적으로 와. 가 갈래 잡적으로 와. 얘는 꿀렁 줘 만유나? 아니 청원 담는 장로고 요래. 꿀렁 개와다 내중다 잡로다 셈제 된데 꿀렁 줘도 봐이나는 상마 개월은 줄투고 요래. 되네 강로 소소도 나미도. 아니 청원 담는 강로 하바인 왔다 드미도 나데글로 솔은 유르기 인삼. 콜롱 양다 바가노 로고요나 무투네 지 로야다 제망한 아니 딜레마쇼로지 지기 냠바잖아 소소소소 다고 요래 어 데네 쪽사는 삼로다로나
Now, the second thought of mind changing is impermanence and death. So, when we want to practice genuinely, when we are embarking on the path, we may often encounter several distractions and several excuses for why I cannot practice now. Oh, I have some work to do. I have to spend some time with my family. I can always practice this later. I have some work to get done. I have some errands to run. There's so much to do. I will do the practice session maybe later. I can do it in the evening. I can do it later. So, with several excuses, we keep on procrastinating our time. We keep on procrastinating our sessions. We suddenly, before going to bed, we realize that, I did not practice at all today. I was totally procrastinating all day. And we continue to do that. And why does that happen? We continue to do so because we haven't really set our motivation. So we have to set our motivation so that we can always say, this work can be done later, but practice has to come now because everything is impermanent. I don't know when I'm going to die. So, to become a genuine practitioner, we have to contemplate on impermanence and death. We have to always remind ourselves by procrastinating, we are only procrastinating our sessions of practice. So now this is our task to continue contemplate on impermanence and not procrastinate. Draw our mind again and again towards practicing, towards doing the session.
So tadi jala nyeba de ni kunju shindu ngamba songu yore ta kunju choba hajang gi tsingbo semla de ne ngaja hajang chombo thado hajang chombo jensum chombo mela nesum chombo yebe to ne en luinga ji choba jang en su da mi temba en su ji la pensum ji do ne chawa meje ba misu toba ina de la ne neba jaya do da nampenzun patro tsuto jaya do da ane choba sangpo kadu na nyurwa meba shiga ngenpa kala sangma la nyo jan jan jal tenga ji yungu dowa kange mangpo te tega tende mishi kyungpo yoba yina yang chwe nalma jindu kabo sha sabare kasi ko sem korang ane chakdo dan densam dan nyesam kala la de yorwa ane digi nyoba de choba de la lunga la lep yondu ane shen la nyoba jan jan de sozo yang kibu me shen yang kibu me dende choba ngenpa kala ne tena yang chue nalma jida yang tong bundu kawo yungu yure. An dende kan la sozo lakdu lakme duwa ne, da jida. Sozo dende kan la lakme na, da den meba suya tabje che. Dende kan la lakme na, jema mi jeba la ne, ane sozo tabje dan den rogu yure. Wa dende kyo samlu daro nang.
Like I mentioned earlier, several different kind of conditions may occur when we are trying to devote our body, speech, and mind to practicing dharma. And the only way to bring our mind back to our proper motivation, back to practicing Dharma, is reminding ourselves that it is impermanent. Um, let's say it is time for our session, but then you suddenly remember, oh, I have work to do outside. I need to step back for a little bit. Or, oh, yeah, now I can practice. So let's sit down. Then you suddenly remember you have something to respond to. So you go in and out, you engage in this thing, you engage in that. We keep on engaging in everything else except Dharma. So, whenever this sort of conditions occur, where be it on your body, let's say pain or discomfort, or speech, idle talks per se, or mind, where your mind is just distracted and it's anywhere but at our motivation, at our main practice. So, during these conditions, remind yourself that it's impermanent. Everything is impermanent. So, I have to bring myself to practice. And remember that it is our mind. Yes, we have errands to run. Yes, we have many things to do from our body, speech, and mind. But in the end, it is our mind that we have to bring back, to pull back to the main motivation to practice. So, one more time, contemplating that everything is impermanent, that the date is certain, we redo, we re draw back our mind to motivation, to main practice.
나서 아니 둔다 대 가서 대 삼조지기 아니 원도 뭐네 말냐면 소로랑
So, this is it for this week. And we will conclude today's session by doing dedication and aspiration prayer. So, please join us.
어 주연 롤바 젬부 길고로도 대제 상아 주비 개와다 뒤좀 자베 개조 군동 라메 장조 젬보로 오와라기 조남데 타예 조와 군치나 자웨 바라제 군시 림니 람게 저바 다르제 베마 잘베 고바 뉴르도 비주 잔게 라메 젤라미 라시 예담 간주 르다 제브제 쮸뇨 좀메 바르제 군사 조능 어준 주베 라제요 오마옴 바드랑고로 베마제데 오미지 델레쳔보 예제네 와사뇨 오메가예 다메 송조와 베쇼다랑오나 Rajen Zhu Bei Xin Zhu Bei Mao Zhuni Ngun Sum Jia Sen De Le Long Nyam Nang Kong Bei Jial Me Gang Jen Ren Ba Zen Bei Ba Wu Zhang Gen Zong Zhu Zi Lu De Do Je Lu Ga Ran Ju De Wu De Men Kong Bo Wen Da Ye Ning Je De Ren Jin Jiang Nan Bei Mo Na Gu Song Gu De Jin Me Do Zhen Zang Gang Du Zhu Bei Zhen Zhu Jie La Zu Zhen Dang Gu Yin Nam Ru Da Len Bei Ngöndro Zha Chen Ben Dun Zang Der Da Xian Ka-Nying Yi Jin Jia Zu Gun Zhe De Be Ma Dao Du Jie Wa Ra Xiu De Ya Re Zhen Nam Xie Zhen Lam La Den Ning Gu Da Ye Jin Jia Zu Zo Nye La Men Guo Ba Nyu Ru Du Ra Xie De Ni Lun Jie Zhu Ba Ra Xiu De Me Xie Da Yer Men Be Man Ju Ra Nan Da Be Zang Du Ba Re Xie Na Re Yer Men Man Ju Nyu Me De Ne Nam Da Xian Du Jie Wa Ra Xiu Gang Du Jie Wei Jie Wa Dam Jin Du Re Yun Den Dun Den Du Ba Ra Xiu Jie Ma Da Du Jue Dan Zhen Ju Ru Su Xin Zhu Bi Ra Wang Yu Ba Ra Xiu Xu Du Ne Ne Ning Ben Dun Zhu Zhe De Re Zhe Ben Jia Zu Gal Wa Ra Sen Pe Dan Be Jia Ran Den Ji Xin Ben Zhe La Jun Ga La Me Ba Ra Xiu Lab Je Xin Dun Zhou Re Me Ba Tam Je Jam Je San Je Do Ba Ra Xiu La Su An Zang Ma La Tu Chi Chi Xiu Yin Zang Me Gu Su Tu Jia Nang Ni Nga Su Dun Da Chen Ma Jia Yong.
Thank you all for coming today. We will meet each other again next week.